Welcome to the Manx Theatre Podcast.
Come on to the theatre.
Hello, and welcome back to episode 65 of the Manx Theatre Podcast with me, Neil Callin. Thank you to everyone who's listened to our previous episodes. If you're brand new to the podcast, welcome along and thanks for joining us. In this podcast, we like to try and keep you up to date with what's going on in theatre on the Isle of Man, chatting to the cast and creatives of upcoming shows to find out a little bit more about the shows and the people behind them, and also what our Manx born and bred performers are doing further afield.
Coming up in this week's episode,
I'm joined by Bethan Owen, Tracey McCann and Maryse Andrea from the Manx Operatic Society ahead of their production of Everybody's Talking About Jamie, which opens at the Gaiety Theatre later this week. You can still listen to all of our previous episodes through all the usual podcast outlets and at manxradio.com/podcasts. Whilst you're there, make sure you give us a like and click subscribe or follow or whatever it is you need to do to make sure you never miss an episode. The lineup for MADFA's 75th Anniversary Easter Festival of Plays has just been announced. Once again, it'll be a mix of one-act and full-length plays by both youth and adult groups. However, this year, the one-act plays, all provided by Manx teams, are grouped together over Saturday the 19th and Sunday the 20th of April. It all starts at 3 p.m. on Saturday the 19th with the first two of three entries from the service players and sees Cubicle by Alessandro Mazzotta, followed by The Same by Enda Walsh. Both performances contain strong language. At 7:30 p.m, Goodbye Piccadilly Productions present Shelter by Jenny Derbyshire, followed by the Russian players with A Bench at the Edge by Luigi Giannuzzi. At 3 p.m. on Sunday 20th are both youth productions, with Platform Theatre Group presenting a shortened version of The Trials by Dawn King, and the Manx National Theatre, formerly in drama, presenting The Big E Club by C.J. Mabry. At 7:30 p.m, we have the final two productions in the one-act class, with Paradox Theatre Company presenting Theodora by Gemma Varnum, and finishing the class is the service players with their third entry, Losing It by Derek Webb. The full-length festival, featuring all visiting teams, kicks off on Monday the 21st at 7:30 p.m, with the Wellington Theatre Company, who present Noel Coward's Blythe Spirit. Tuesday 22nd sees Northamptonshire's White Cobra Productions present Our Man in Havana by Clive Francis. On Wednesday 23rd, the Keyhole Theatre from Liverpool present O'Brien's Dream by Bill Morrison. Thursday 24th sees Simon Wood's Hansard, performed by Full Circle Theatre Company from Essex. Rounding out the festival, on Friday 25th of April, the Garden Suburb Theatre from London present Holding the Man by Tommy Murphy. This will be followed by the awards presentation. Each performance will also be followed by the adjudicator's notes and comments on the performance. The synopsis for each play can be found on MADFA's website, madf.im. Well, it was all revealed a couple of weeks ago what Sam Barks has been up to since Frozen closed, as she won The Masked Singer, whilst disguised as Pufferfish. Special shout out to Paige Openshaw, who was the first person to plant the seed in my brain that Sam was that. We're still waiting for what the next production is for Sam, but in the meantime, she'll be performing in Samantha Barks Live at the London Palladium on the 5th of April 2025. It promises to be a night full of her biggest musical theatre numbers and some songs from her time as Pufferfish on The Masked Singer. Then, on the 25th of April, Sam will be performing on a special BBC Radio 2 concert, also at the London Palladium, to celebrate the 60-year career of the Queen of the West End, Elaine Page. The lineup includes appearances by West End and Broadway performers Maz Murray, Julian Ovenden, Charlie Stemp and Summer Strallen, performing Elaine's most iconic numbers. The concert will then be broadcast on Radio 2 on Sunday the 4th of May. In the last episode, I mentioned that Matt Everfield had recently announced that he'll be leaving the cast of Mrs. Doubtfire to join the cast of Disney's brand new West End production of Hercules, which opens at the Theatre Royal Drury Lane this summer. He's also announced that for his final stretch of Mrs. Doubtfire, he'll be taking over the role of Frank, the brother of Daniel and Mrs. Doubtfire, until he leaves. Over his last 2 weeks, he'll also be rehearsing Hercules during the day and performing Mrs. Doubtfire in the evenings. So the end of April is going to be pretty busy for Matt. Perry O'Day has announced that he too will be leaving Mrs. Doubtfire at the end of April, but at the moment he's not able to say what he's going on to until everything has been announced officially, but when we find out, we'll let you know. Laura Piggott has recently been seen on episode 6 of the current series of Father Brown, titled The Lord of the Dance. No spoilers, but she has a pretty big role in that one. Laura is also currently gracing our TV screens in the current Go.Compare ad campaign, dancing down the street to her new house. She also has a few exciting things planned in the pipeline, but she can't talk about them at the moment due to contracts and whatever. But when she can talk about them, I'll let you know. The same goes for Anne-Marie Crane, freshly back from the China tour of Cats. She's got some exciting news about a project that's coming later in the year, but at the moment she can't talk about that until the contracts are signed and the show is publicly announced. Lily Ratnaville is currently appearing in a production of Shakespeare's Cymbeline at the Sam Wanamaker Playhouse as Lady Helen and Arvigara until the 20th of April. She has also recently had her first part in a film called We Live in Time, which came out in cinemas in January and stars Andrew Garfield and Florence Pugh. So we'll have to make sure we keep an eye out for that. Finally, well, for now anyway, Joe Hillard and Brisha Krukal are both heading off on Cunard's Queen Elizabeth until September. There's no specific book musical on this cruise, but they will be doing 5 different production shows of different musical themes and genres. Last week, the Isle of Man Arts Council celebrated its 60th anniversary, with a gathering of members past and present and to launch a special Arts Council-themed stamp collection. There are several application dates for various grants and schemes offered by the Arts Council throughout the year. To find out more about the funding available and how to apply, check out their website at iomarts.com. That's it for now, but make sure you keep up to date with what's going on between episodes by following Manx Theatre Podcast on both Facebook and Instagram. Right, it's time to dim the house lights and raise the curtain on this week's guests. I'm joined now by Bethan Owen, Tracey McCann and Maryse Andrea from the Manx Operatic Society, ahead of their production of Everybody's Talking About Jamie, which opens at the Gaiety later this week. Ladies, welcome to the podcast.
Hello.
I think this is the first time for everyone, isn't it? I don't think anyone's been on before, have they?
No.
Well, wonderful. Well, welcome along and thanks for joining me. So we're here today to talk about Manx Operatic Society's production of Everybody's Talking About Jamie, which is on in just over a week's time. Yeah. So it's getting close and getting a bit scary and a bit exciting. Yeah. This has come on a kind of a special license, hasn't it? Because I think there was just a period of about 12 months where they were giving out a load of licenses to perform the show, because it's never been open to amateur license before, is it?
That's right, yes. So it was a coup for us, yeah.
Yeah. And I guess there's only going to be one society on the island that are going to be able to do it in that period of time. So Manx Ops. And it's a fantastic show. So
it is.
Give us an idea of the story of the show.
Well, I mean, it's about a young boy who's about 16, finding himself, wants to be a drag queen, and then takes that on wanting to go to prom in a dress, and just about self-identity, but like getting all the support from like your family, your friends. They're going through their own journey and the trials and tribulations, really.
Yeah, it's not an easy path for him, is it?
And it's based on a true story.
Yes.
Yeah. So
based on it was a BBC documentary in 2011, I think it was, called Jamie Drag Queen at 16, which it's still available in the iPlayer. So if you haven't seen it, watch it. It's brilliant. Because I watched it after I'd first seen. I totally ADHD. I get enrolled in something, then I have to find out everything about it. And I found out that it was based on the documentary, and I dug out the documentary and sat and watched it. And having seen the show a few times and then watching the documentary, there was dialogue that has been lifted directly out of that documentary. That's right. So Jamie's 16, his parents are divorced, and his father, doesn't really want anything to do with him.
No.
Sadly, because he's gay. So Jamie doesn't know that, and he's basically being brought up by his mum Margaret, who keeps making excuses for his dad for why he hasn't turned up to his birthday, and so on. And his mum has just bought him his first set of heels, which she can't really afford, can she?
No.
And she gives him a card and some money, which is supposedly from his dad, but it's actually come from her as well, and she's had to fork out the extra cash for him.
That's right, yeah.
As you say, he's got dreams of being a drag queen, but the problem is he lives in Sheffield. It's not the easiest place to be a drag queen, I guess.
No.
So he meets Hugo, the owner of Victor's Secrets, which is a shop for drag queens, where he not only gets his dress for the prom, but Hugo manages to get him a show at, is it Legs 11, which is the drag night at the local social club?
That's right, yeah.
So the first half is about him finding the courage to become the drag queen.
Yeah.
And ignoring the bullies at school, and it ends with him becoming me, which is his drag queen persona that he helps create with Hugo. Yeah. The second half opens the next day at school, or the next school day anyway, after Jamie's show, and he's become a bit of a celebrity. That's
right, yeah.
Much to Dean's annoyance, and obviously Dean then tries to get him banned from the school prom for going in a dress.
Yeah.
So the characters that you're all playing. So Tracey, you are playing Ray.
That's right.
And Ray's the best friend of Jamie's mum?
Yeah, she's Margaret's best friend. She's very protective over Margaret. She's obviously grew up with Margaret, watched Margaret go through her divorce with Jamie's father. She's very protective over Jamie as well. Mm-hmm. She's kind of bit of a step-in, father figure for Jamie. She's very feisty. She's very strong.
More of a man than Jamie's dad actually
Absolutely. Is. Absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
And there's a real sort of type friendship with Ray and with Margaret.
With
isn't it?
Margaret, yeah.
And I was down at rehearsals a couple of weeks ago, and I could see that friendship was really clear then between you and Lisa. It's almost like you've been friends for like 30 years.
Because we have. Yes. That's right, yeah. So it was easy playing best friends because obviously me and Lisa have known each other a long time. So it's been great fun.
Yeah.
This has been great fun.
And Ray's a good fun character as well, isn't she?
Absolutely. I've loved playing Ray.
Swears like a trooper.
Absolutely, yeah. She's got a bit of potty mouth, but...
and she's got all the best lines as well.
She has, yeah.
I mean, some that we obviously can't talk about on the repeat of the podcast because, especially when she's throwing things in the bin.
Yes, you'll have to come and see the show and see. Yes.
And with that in mind, there is some spicy language, and it's quite adult themes at times. So it's, I think Nikki said to me the other day that you're looking at sort of 12 up, so sort of high school kids upwards. It's not really suitable for younger kids.
No, older children, above, high school age would have heard these words.
Oh God, yes.
Being said.
Yes.
Anyway, so yeah.
So Bethan, you play Miss Hedge.
Yeah.
Jamie's careers advisor teacher.
Yes.
So tell us a little about her character. What's she like?
So she's not the nicest at the start of the show, and she's one of the characters in the show that challenged Jamie, because obviously at the end of the show, he comes to prom in a dress, and obviously Miss Hedge isn't too happy about it. But throughout the show, she kind of comes to her senses and realises that it's not a bad thing, that obviously Jamie wants to be a drag queen and be himself.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice seeing her go from disliking Jamie a lot and she's quite nasty to then obviously respecting him.
Yeah. Oh, she's clearly quite stressed dealing with all these teenagers.
Yes.
And stuck in a job that's not really clearly probably what she wanted to do, being a careers advisor when no one seems to take any notice of her.
Yeah.
With those wonderful psychometric tests where they get to be a forklift truck driver.
Yep.
But she does get to wear some Jimmy Choos?
I do. Yeah.
Are they not real ones?
I don't know. I thought they were. If they were, I'd nick them.
They're Joe Browns.
Oh, well, there you go.
So then the question comes from them then. Who's walking better in the heels? Is it you or is it Ben?
Ben 100%. Ben can walk in heels better than anyone I've seen.
Yeah, I was talking to Gareth Leese the other day, a.k.a. Vida La Fierce, and he was saying how Ben took to those heels remarkably quickly.
Yes.
Well, the second
In
he put
fact,
them on,
so
he was
much-
like a pro, wasn't he?
Yes,
So much quicker than Gareth himself.
And they're so high as well, aren't
They are very high.
I don't think it was his first time.
Many years ago, I was in the Rocky Horror Show, and I had to wear big platformed high heels, and after 4 hours in rehearsals of dancing in those, I'm like, I am never going to complain when a girl wants to take her shoes off at the end of the night again. They were my feet were in pieces. And then you put it on a stage with a rake and anyway, fun. So Maryse, your
Hi.
character is one of the drag queens that kind of takes Jamie under their wing.
Yep, I'm the très sophistiqué. I think Jeremy's words were I was the pretty one. So much to recent Vida's dismay, that is I. So can't help it.
And the other drag queens are, as I mentioned, Gareth Leese, aka Vida La Fierce.
Yep.
He's playing Sandra Bullock.
Yep.
And you've also got Rhys Griffiths, who is Like a Virgin.
Yes.
I think I've also seen, some of the names do change occasionally. I think I've also seen one called Vileda Mop.
Oh right! Oh wow! Like in the different plays.
In
fabulous.
different productions, yes. And I think maybe when they've got some actual sort of real drag queens come in, they just sort of bring their name into the show with them. So
yeah, definitely.
Get a bag of chips or something like that.
Bag of chips. Yeah. And Bianca Del Rio, I think, was in it as well as Loco Chanel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So anyway, let's have a look at the cast. So we've got Ben Gale, who's playing Jamie. He was going to be here today, but unfortunately he's struggling a little bit. Unfortunately, last week was it a good sort of 2/3 of the cast was struck down with the flu. Better now than get-in week, as what happened in 2022 when we were doing Sweeney Todd.
Exactly.
We were doing the SITS probe, and then about 2/3 of the cast all came down with COVID. 5 days before the show opened, we had to move the whole show back a week. It was horrendous, but we got there in the end, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
We had some super subs that came in and that helped us out.
Absolutely.
So, as we said, Ben is playing Jamie, which is the lead role, and as we said, we've established that he's clearly far too comfortable in those heels.
Yeah.
And he's watching the rehearsal a few weeks ago. He's he's loving it. He's really into that part, and he's bleached his hair blonde as well.
Yeah.
Goodness knows how many times now for all the different photo shoots.
I think we're on the third time now,
Yeah,
aren't
third
we?
or fourth, yeah.
Commitment, we like it.
Yes.
Yeah, gotta go for it. Yeah. And Lisa Dancock's stalwart at the Manx stage. She's playing his mum Margaret, and yeah, she's got some wonderful numbers in there as well, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's my boy. That's just.
I think that's the best number in the whole show.
Yeah.
I know I've got so many favourites in the show. I just love the show.
Yeah.
So Tracey, you're playing Ray, who
Yes.
is Margaret's best mate.
Yes.
Then we have Lola Sutton playing Pretty, who is Jamie's best mate, and she's young and new, isn't she?
Yes, she
is this her first show?
It's our first show with us, with Manx Ops.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
And I was amazed how amazing she was. Such a small little person. And of course, there's her and Morgana,
Yes.
who was playing Fatima, and they're both wearing burqas all the time at
Yes,
rehearsals. And I
yes.
was chatting to her after rehearsal. I said, "Do you not get hot with the burqa on?" She says, "No, she kind of got used to it now." She says the thing that she's struggling the most with is the glasses,
You're right.
because
yeah.
she kind of steams up a little bit.
Yeah.
Gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeremy had them wearing it from the start, so they could get used to them.
Yeah.
Because obviously you're what you're hearing as well. 'Cause
Yes.
Your ears are covered.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's not been a shock because they've been wearing them for the past 6 months.
Very
So
good.
Brilliant.
yeah.
Nathan Ray is playing Hugo and Loco Chanel, who's the original drag queen that he stumbles across in. Is it Victor's Secrets? Is
Victor's
that the
Secret,
Victor's
yeah.
Secret, yeah.
So, and it's quite a dream role for Nathan, so I'm dead proud of him, and he's doing really well.
Yes, he is, and he's handling the heels well as well.
He definitely was there. I did kinky boots with him, and I could see him eyeing them up, and he was
Yes.
like, any excuse, and I think he's found his mark now, so it's really
Yeah.
good to see.
And Jason Buckley is playing Jamie's dad.
That's right. Yeah.
Boo.
Boo.
Oh,
No, he's lovely in real
Yeah.
life.
yeah.
But Jamie's dad though,
yeah,
he's a wrong 'un, isn't he?
Yeah,
We
he's-
don't like him.
He's not a nice character.
No.
And that's the way he plays it throughout the show.
but they're often the best characters to play though.
Yeah,
Someone
the
who's just
baddies.
so
Oh yeah,
And
definitely.
he's taken to it really well. He has enjoyed, getting into the role and
Yeah.
playing the baddie.
Yeah. I was conversation at the end of the rehearsal that I was at, and he was talking with, I think it was Nathan actually, and he was saying about how he enjoyed that scene. I think Act 2 was still fairly fresh when I was there,
Right, yeah.
and he was saying, I think I need to be nastier. I need to be
Yes.
more horrible.
Yeah, and
So
Jeremy kept saying, up at a level.
yeah,
That's-
because I think
yeah,
that was the number that leads into Ugly, and
That's
it
right.
was for him to be able to go over that arc and go so over the top then and angry with it. Then he's got
That's
to be
right.
really angry with him to send him off on that panel. Yeah, but he's so Jason's been doing stuff for a while, hasn't he?
Jason's done a few shows in the past, but this is his first, speaking role.
Yeah.
So
He-
he's enjoyed it.
He's got a bit of a dance background, hasn't he?
He has, yeah, ballroom
Yes.
dancing, yeah.
Lovely.
You can tell by the shoes he wears.
Yes.
Yes. Always tell by a man's shoes.
Okay. Bethan, you're playing Miss Hedge, the teacher. Then we have the Drag Queen Supreme. So Vidal Fierce, Gareth Lees is Sandra Bullock.
Yeah.
Maryse, Andrea, you are playing Trey Sophisticae.
That's it.
And Reese is playing Like a Virgin.
Yes.
Then we get into the youth of the cast, and there's a lot of youth. I mean, that was one thing I noticed the most when it came down to the rehearsals. Like, yes, there's the 4 or 5 people that I've known for a long time. There's a couple of people that I've done stuff with recently, and then there's a lot of kids.
Yeah, there's some.
There's a few faces I recognise, but there was a lot of them that were new, and it's great to see so many young people coming through. And as Matt James used to say, the future of the society.
Absolutely.
I love Matt James.
So with those youth members, then you've got Kieran Doherty
Yes.
playing Dean. Dean Paxton. He's kind of the bully, isn't he?
Yes, definitely.
And he's just against Jamie the whole way from the start, isn't he?
That's right. Yeah.
And Kieran's really getting the meat of that, really, isn't he? Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
grown so much, watching him from the start of rehearsals to now, how he's developed the characters so good, and I can't praise him enough, and I think he deserves to be told
Yeah.
because he's so young, and I think he loves it. He's like, oh really, am I doing really well? And
Because
the
he's such a
reassurance.
lovely
Yeah.
person, lovely
Yes.
lad as
Yeah.
well,
Such a
and to
sweet
play
boy.
such a nasty role.
It's the complete opposite of
It-
him, isn't
yeah,
it?
yeah,
Yeah.
But he's coming on great,
It's
isn't he?
great. It's really
Yeah.
good to see.
Then we've got Jay O'Connell playing Cy, Anya Jagus playing Bex, Eleanor Scott playing Becca. I like that, the two different names, Beck and Bex, because there's always a couple of Beccas, isn't there?
Yeah.
Florrie Thomas is Vicky. Morgana, I'm going to get this wrong, Vendemia? Okay, we'll just go with Morgana.
Okay.
Is playing Fatima. We've got Jasmine Hay playing Mickey, Adam Brooks playing Saeed. And then the rest of the cast is sort of rounded out by Leila Safiye Vahapla, Holly Callow, Shannon Skillen, Charles Emmanuel de Montelou, Matilda Clegg, Emma Stratford, and Roma Forfar playing the rest of the kids.
Right. Yeah.
Gosh, there's some interesting names there, some tricky
Yes.
names to get your tongue around, isn't there? Crikey. So, I mean, yeah, those kids they're really coming on, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And there's some fairly complex routines in there that they're doing as well.
Yeah, some of them are hard going. Yeah.
And so Jeremy Tustin is the director, isn't he?
Yes, that's right.
And has he done all the choreography
yes,
as well?
he has.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
And-
choreographed it all.
Yeah, and he was insisted by, is it Layla Schofield?
Alicia.
No, Alicia.
Alicia
Alicia's-
Schofield. Alicia
yeah,
Schofield,
Alicia's
yes.
our dance captain, and
Yeah.
she's taken them through their paces, broke down some routines, and yeah, she's done great. She's kept them motivated and kept them going.
Yeah, and you've just sort of sat at the back and gone, well done, everyone.
Yes.
Because I think it was only really the finale that you were involved in, isn't it?
No.
You've got a limited edition.
I've got I've
Oh,
got
yes,
a
of course.
song.
Yeah.
And obviously lots of scenes with Lisa, and yeah, me and Ben do limited edition.
Yeah, I meant choreography-wise, though. Yeah.
Yes, for
Yeah.
dancing, just we've got the finale and the encore and that. Yeah.
Because normally you're one of the featured dancers, aren't you?
Yes. Yeah, was back then.
She's having a rest now.
We need someone to dance. Well, let's get Tracey,
Yeah.
and quite often me as well.
Yeah.
We've
very
danced
true.
together many
We have.
shows.
Yeah, we have.
Flung Tracey around all over the place.
She's only tiny.
Oh yeah, it's great. Just do this. There we go. So along with that cast, I think you've got a number of booth singers as well. Is that
We
right?
do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just to help them out when there's sort of big, energetic numbers.
Yes, because
Yeah.
what it's like when you're dancing. Sometimes it's hard
Yeah.
to getting all your harmonies in. So we've got that backup, from the booth singers,
Yeah.
just to give us those lines so they're clear.
Give it a bit of depth.
Keep the
Yeah,
Absolutely.
tone.
yeah, yeah. So that they can go full out then on the dance routines and then not
Yes.
have to worry about
Yeah.
because we've all been there. Oh yes, so yeah, watching that rehearsal though. I mean, Lisa nearly had me with "He's My Boy," and I've probably said that 3
Yes.
times now already. But also Lola when she was singing "Beautiful." Oh,
Yeah, she's got a stunning voice.
her
She's
voice is
amazing.
just so
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I was talking with Ben the other week, and he was saying that every time she sings that, and she's just getting more and more confidence and going as the rehearsal period is going on. So
Yeah,
it's
she's
going to be
really good.
yeah.
She brings a real vulnerability to her
Yeah.
role, and great support for Jamie, and yeah,
Takes you there, doesn't it?
she does. Yeah.
Brilliant. So Jeremy, then we just talked about is the Jeremy Tustin is the director, and Victoria McLaughlin as assistant director. She's
That's
been
right.
putting you through your paces in
She
his
has.
absence,
Yes.
and we've also got Chris Sullivan as the musical director.
Yeah.
So he's been helping you out. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
the music is fantastic because it's written by Dan Gillespie Sells from The Feeling. So, and if you know The Feeling music, and then you listen to Jamie, there's lots of different places where you can hear sort of the harmonies and the chord
Right.
progressions. And think, oh, that's very The Feeling. And so there's some great stuff. I'm just trying to think of a song off the top of my head. Which one that's really? Oh, Limited Edition. Limited Edition is a
Really?
real kind of Feeling kind of song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's quite a hard
I
song.
think if you listen to Limited Edition and then listen to Fill My Little World Right Up, you can
Okay.
hear the similarities between
Right,
those
I'll
two
have
songs.
to
Oh, is that the
that.
same person?
Yeah.
What a sleigh. Isn't that cool?
It is. It's fantastic. I mean, he was over a few years ago, and I think he did some workshops.
Oh,
I was like,
wow.
well, fortunately, I was busy that
Learning
weekend,
as
so I
we go
couldn't
along,
go.
you see. I'm like,
Yeah.
is it? Wow. It's exciting, isn't it? It's lovely.
I mean, the show itself started back in 2017. It started in Sheffield,
Yeah.
and then later that year it moved into the West End, and that was the first performance that I saw, and I saw it through a live streaming down at King William's College or King's Court Theatre,
Right.
and that had the original cast,
Yeah.
which was John McCrae as Jamie. I had Josie Walker, who's the daughter of Roy Walker, who used to present Catchphrase.
Wow.
And the version that I saw, I think she's not the original Ray, but Shobna Gulati plays her on that version, and she also plays Ray in the film version with Sarah Lancashire.
Oh, okay. Right.
It's Anita from Corrie.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Very good.
So it's great. It's great. I mean, if you get a chance to see that production, it is brilliant and
Yeah,
well worth seeing.
yeah.
It's fantastic. And there's a lot of things that Ben's got from that. I was thinking, oh, see that? I can see what he's doing. He's got little bits of influences from it.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, the show's a real roller coaster of emotions, isn't it? With songs that will make you cry tears of joy and of sadness. Lisa's rendition of "He's My Boy" and "If I Met Myself Again" they're just fantastic.
Absolutely. Yeah.
and the heart-wrenching as well, as is Jamie's The Wall of My Head and Ugly in This Ugly World.
Yeah.
And then Lola, who's playing Jamie's best friend, Pretty, her songs, Spotlight, and in the second half, It Means Beautiful. They're just such, they're beautiful songs, and she sings them so well.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then there's the out-and-out fun of like the opening number, and you don't even know it, where his dreams of becoming the drag queen, and all the classmates become all of his fans and his followers. And then there's everybody's talking about Jamie. Obviously, the title of the show, but it opens the second half, and it's the whole sort of Chinese whispers of the story going round school of everything that happened at Jamie's drag show.
You're listening to the Manx Theatre Podcast with Neil Callin.
So, Maryse,
Yes.
This show has a bit of a personal link for you. It's got a real sort of, it mirrors your own story, because you wore a dress to your own prom, didn't you?
I did, yeah. Back in, when did I leave school? 2012. When did I leave school? I'm 30 now. What's the maths? It's never my strong point.
Is it 2011,
2011, 2010?
Yeah.
2010, 2011, 20,
Yeah.
one of them.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
2012, that's
Right.
what it was. It
Yeah.
was, yeah. Yeah, I did that.
So this show then must have a real sort of special.
Oh yeah, massively.
Link for you,
When I remember watching the documentary, kind of, was it just before I was doing it, and I thought, oh my goodness. But it was after my prom, so I didn't know that. Because obviously it was like in advance. But no, yeah, it was very close to home, and I think then I watched before you obviously do the audition, you watch the show, and I was like, oh, can I actually do this?
Yeah.
And it's been quite emotional.
Yeah.
I'm not really an emotional person on the outside, but like on the inside, I've been like, whoa, this is, especially with like Pretty. I had a really good friend at school, and I would go around and, do my makeup and put wigs on and
Better eyebrows though, yeah.
Well, I didn't touch them. It was 2008, so we had Dream Matte Mousse and a bit of lip gloss. But it's definitely like taken me back, and kind of now that I'm 30, appreciating actually it was kind of a big deal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
When you're a kid, you don't think it is. You're just like, oh, I'm just doing it because I want to do it. You don't realise the effects it has, not just on yourself, but your family, friends, and what you're really actually doing is a big thing.
It is. And now you're doing musical theatre, and life is wonderful.
Expressing my emotions through the theatre world.
So how did you all get started then? I know, Tracey, that you went to, is it Merseyside Dance School?
Yeah. And then I moved over here.
Yes, because you're a come over, aren't you?
I am, yes.
You're effectively a stopover these days. You've been here long enough.
Yeah. And then I watched Manx Ops. My mum took me to go and see Cabaret.
Right.
And I just loved it so much, and I thought, right, I'm going to join the society, and I joined then the year after. And my first show was in '89, Chicago, with Manx Ops, and I've been a member of Manx Ops ever since. I'm a life member now.
Mm. So no subs for Tracey.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the perks of your loyalty to the society.
Yeah, so you've been in and out of the shows over the years, and you're not the person that does the show every year.
Well, no. I've obviously had to have breaks when I've had the children.
Yeah.
But I've tried to do as many as possible, because I just love it so much.
You still must have a few shows under your belt, though.
I do.
Probably don't want to think about putting a number in it.
Oh, I don't know. I've been doing shows since I was 11.
Wow.
So 40 plus years.
Yeah.
So yeah, lots of shows, lots of memories. Yeah.
What would your favourite show be in that time?
Favourite show. I love West Side Story. I love the music. I've done that twice. I've loved this show.
Yeah.
I really have loved playing this part. Real gritty role to play.
But she's funny as well at the same time.
She is.
Yeah.
She's funny, but she's tough. She's very caring. I've got so many shows, that I've loved doing over the years.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Bethan, how about you? How did you get started?
Well, both of my parents love musicals, so I grew up listening to quite a few.
So you were forced into it, yeah?
Pretty much, yeah. But so my mum and dad would always used to listen to Phantom of the Opera. So for my 10th birthday, I got to go to London to watch it on the West End.
Wow.
And I still remember, like, as soon as I walked into that theatre, I was like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And then ever since then, yeah, I've just wanted to, like, get myself involved with the shows, and then I go over to London when I can and watch more musicals.
Lovely. And you also, you've done plays as well with the Service Players, because we did One Man, Two Governors together a couple of years ago.
We did, yeah.
So is this your, have you done many musicals, or is this your first one?
I've done quite a couple of them.
Yeah.
I've done some with DCU and then Centre Stage Productions.
Oh, right, yeah.
And then when I was, like, a lot younger, I think it was The Jungle Book with Parker and Snell.
Right, okay.
And then I've done a few, like, pantos as well.
Marvellous. Maryse, how about you? What was...
So I'm like a rookie still. I'm in my, so I started off with Taylorian.
Yeah.
And we did Kinky Boots. I got introduced to the company through a work colleague that I worked with who did makeup, Rachel Britton, behind the stage.
Oh, yes.
So she...
In Boots?
Yes. And she told me that they were looking for a drag queen for Kinky Boots. And then I was introduced to, Matt James, Chris Cummins, and literally, fell in love with everyone. And really come like quite a prominent time in my life. I guess joining theatre for me was really personal, of like going through stuff and kind of getting over that and finding kind of some light again, I guess.
Yeah.
And ever since then, through Taylorian, such a lovely company, and Manx Ops as well, it's just been wonderful. So I started with Kinky Boots and then played a drag queen in that one. So that was predominantly dancing.
It was one of the angels, wasn't it?
I was one of the angels.
Yes,
with the red hair, and it was great. And the glitz and the glamour. And then last year we did We Will Rock You.
Yeah.
And then auditioned with Manx Ops for Everyone's Talking About Jamie, and here we are.
Yeah.
Next chapter, let's keep going.
Bring it up to date.
Yeah.
So is there something that's is there a show that's on your bucket list that you've just got to do?
Oh, if they ever did burlesque.
Yeah.
Or if they ever did, I'd love to do like Grease and stuff. I know that it had been done so much, because I feel like I'm like jumping on this train late. I'm like, oh, it's so like just little parts like that. But a serious role would be great as well.
Yeah.
Really
I mean, that's the kind of the slightly annoying thing on the Isle of Man, because there's kind of like this 10-year recycle rate before you can really do a show again. It's like that show was done last year, so it was like by the time that comes around again, I'm going to be too old for that part.
Yeah.
So.
We'll get Botox and then we'll never look at Cher.
Oh yeah. I mean, she's what, 98?
110, I think.
Okay. Do you have a dream role, Tracey? Is there or have you already played it with in Little Shop of Horrors?
I don't know really. I mean, I always wanted to play Lena Lamont, Singing in the Rain.
Yeah.
Probably too old now if it came out again. But yeah, playing Audrey in Little Shop was a great role. I loved it. Yeah, I suppose I've played lots of little parts, in a lot of shows that I've done, like Crazy for You, played Patsy, 42nd Street, played Lorraine Fleming. I've always had little parts and shows, and I've always had fun.
West Side with that, you've been Velma and Graziella.
I've played the same part twice in West Side. Oh, I've done it 3 times, haven't I?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's lots of shows I've done and lots of parts I've loved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Bethan? Is there a dream role?
I've got quite a couple.
Oh, right,
but,
we go.
I'd say like my main one would be Janet in Waitress.
Oh yeah.
Like, I absolutely love that show. Or one of the queens in Six.
I can see that.
Yeah,
I can
like
see
Jane
that.
Seymour. Like,
Yeah.
I'd love to do Jane Seymour, or then one of the Schuyler sisters in Hamilton as well.
Yeah.
So you're doing that.
That's great. I mean, the Schuyler Sisters, I mean, unfortunately, it's probably one that's not going to happen, because the way that it's the casting is limited, isn't it? So
Yeah.
Still a dream role.
It's still a dream. It's a dream role.
Exactly.
I mean,
Say never.
concert versions, we'll be fine. Yeah, we'll do it. It'll get there.
Karaoke at 86.
Yes, that's the one. 886 karaoke. Okay, Tracey, you've been in lots of shows.
Yeah.
What is the strangest or the funniest thing that's ever happened on stage?
I think the worst thing is probably when my mic pack fell out the back and plumped between my legs. But it was still attached, so I had to kind of waddle off very quickly. Obviously my mic was live, so I was mouthing to people in the wings to help me, and I had to sort of frantically pull and just rip the whole mic off to run straight back on to continue with my dance partner Gary Chattel, who was just stood on stage looking horrified because I just kind of abandoned him. But yeah, that was probably most frightening moment. Yeah, I
think we've all been there when
we've
a mic,
had lots of
a mic pack's found its way crawling slowly down your leg, and it's like, what's going on?
Yes. Yeah.
I remember West Side Story, we had trying to work out exactly where we could put the mic packs, because we kept breaking them for the big rumbles, because you couldn't put them on your back because you kept falling on your back, and then you put them on your side, but sometimes how you'd end up rolling onto your side in the fight, and then you couldn't put it in the front because then it would dig into your stomach, and it was just trying to find somewhere.
Uncomfortable, aren't they?
Oh, yeah.
You get to like the end of the show and you're like, the mic's digging in you. I think it cut mine last show I did. I was like, what's going on? Why am I bleeding?
Yeah.
I mean, at least you've started with having the little headsets.
Yes.
Cleaning up the ears. I mean, when I first started, it was like half a roll of tape with it just coming up around the back of your ear, back up your neck, and then over your ear and sticking it to your cheek, and then it was like as you get hot and sweaty, it would just unstick and it'd be like waggling around.
No.
Always fun.
That's a nightmare.
Yeah. Okay. What about costumes? I mean, there are some varying shows with varying time periods, I guess, and various budgets as well. Some shows will have had better budgets than others. What is like the best and or worst costume that you've ever had to wear?
Oh, Kinky Boots, hand down. Our finale costumes were a slay. All the drag queens, I could have taken all of them home and I would have just walked around Douglastown and been like, yes.
And the boots.
The boots, but I still say this, I had the best boots. I mean, the Union Jack ones, they were a slay, but I had these black glittery spiky things on a circus outfit, and it was just bejazzled. Oh my god, I could have lived in it. I didn't want to take it off.
Were Matt James's the Union Jack ones?
Yeah, and he wasn't supposed to be because they didn't fit our drag queen because he was so fit and muscly, his legs. So I think Matt James tried them on, and I think he got a bit accustomed to. He could be the next Jamie. But he wore them and he looked great. He was loving it. Yeah.
Well, yes. I've dealt with Matt in heels before.
Was that Rocky Horror?
That was Rocky Horror,
He's so proud of that moment. I wish I could see him. It was great.
I might be able to help you out with that.
Yes. Roll the tape.
Tracey, about you, costumes?
I had some stunning costumes when I played Dolly Tate in Anna Get Your Gun. I had Anita Dobson's costumes.
Wow. Is that the most recent one?
Yeah, from her tour from Hello Dolly. I had some just amazing. When they all arrived, everybody was in awe. They were like, wow, look at your costumes. Had beautiful hats with them. They were all just so, well made, and they fitted me perfectly. And I just, I could have kept them all, really. Yeah.
Had some nice costumes that John Campbell just picked out, and they're from like the RSE or from Academy, and they're like, it's like this really nice 3-piece tailed suit. It's just like, it just feels good. It makes you stand better, and it makes you feel the part. Yeah. But the worst costume?
My worst, it was probably doing Sweeney Todd.
Yeah.
And the asylum scene.
Yeah.
And we had those like robes on with bandages, and they just smell awful. And we dreaded putting them on every night, and we couldn't wait until the end of the scene. We'd run upstairs to the dressing room and take them off again. So that was probably the worst costume I've ever had to wear.
I mean, like we say, with every show that you do, there are some. You get to the end of the show and you go, there's some numbers that you're never going to do again. And you get really upset about, and there are other numbers that you're going to go, last time I have to do that.
Exactly.
And that's the asylum scene.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
What about you, Bethan?
For the best, I'd probably say, as odd as it might sound, I loved the ancestor costumes in the Addams Family.
Yeah.
Like, I thought they were amazing. So I was playing a wench, but the dress was like a corset.
Yeah.
And then it was like nice and long, and like the boots that I got to wear were like lace up as well, so I loved that.
Awesome.
And then for the worst would probably be Jungle Book. Yeah. Because I was playing a wolf, but it was like a skin tight like jumpsuit, and it was so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hot and
yeah.
And after the fourth performance, it's crawling out the room by itself.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Is there a show that's a new show? This probably applies probably more to Tracey than the other two. Although maybe everyone. Is there a new show that's out now that has a role that you would love to play but you can't because you're too old? Maryse?
Do you know what? It would have been nice to be Willy Wonka. Do you know if I didn't change? Do you know what? And like just to see, like, because I don't know how they're doing it, but I would. Do you know how Johnny Depp did it, and it went all like futuristic, and just how camp he was, and like the comedic value of like, but in such an intelligent way, because he's not comedic in like a comic, but he's just so quirky. Yeah. I would like to. That would have been really fun to do.
But with the way that things are these days with theatre and with movies, they play around with gender all the time. So it's
only going to get. I think the market's just going to be wild. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Bethan?
It's a hard question, that one.
It
isn't
is,
it?
yeah.
Because a new show.
I can't think of like many new ones.
No.
Like one I've always wanted to do but been too old for was Matilda.
Yeah.
To play Matilda.
I mean, that's still fairly new. I mean,
Yeah.
it's 10, 15 years old, so I'd still class that as new.
Yeah, Matilda then.
Matilda.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'd love to play Miss Trunchbull.
Really?
Oh my goodness, yes. What a role. I know the movie as well so well.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great show, and it's written by Tim Minchin, the musical by Tim Minchin. I love Tim Minchin as well, so
Yeah.
that'd be one that's sort of high up on my list for me to tick off. Anyway,
You'd be a good Miss Trunchbull. I see that for you, you know.
I'd probably have to get rid of the beard though, wouldn't I?
It's all right. We'll get you some Gillette.
Okay, great. Here's one of our newer ones. Okay, so you're allowed to keep one costume and or prop from any show that you've been in. What is it and why? And I know, Maryse, it's your boots and your costumes.
No,
from
well,
Giggles.
yes, I did enjoy that, but you know what? I got a riding crop.
Oh,
And it was so funny. I used to crack it and everyone was like, oh, and it was just, that was fun. Quite powerful.
Tracey.
I suppose it's been when we did Singing in the Rain.
Yeah.
And we had lots of like feathered headdresses and beautiful. I would have loved to have kept, one of them. Just kept it somewhere. Nostalgia.
Yeah.
Just, yeah.
I still
like
have
that.
my truncheon from Sweeney Todd.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. Just when the kids get out of hand, just threaten them with it,
Oh dear.
What about you, Bethan?
Possibly from Addams Family again.
Yeah.
Like the little bird in the cage. Because I was Wednesday's understudy, so obviously I got to do a show as Wednesday.
Yeah.
And I loved like the little cage with the bird, so probably
that's
that.
nice.
That's the last one. Yeah, I think I did after Sweeney Todd. I think I went away with a few little birds as well from the bit where I pulled the cage apart and crushed the little bird and snapped its neck and threw it off. It was really nasty.
In Sweeney Todd.
Yeah.
Is he the hairdresser
No.
that killed the pies? That made the pies?
Yes.
He is.
That's the
Yes,
thing. But
that's the show.
yeah.
Is that the show? My dad could do that. He's a hairdresser.
I don't
Yes.
think he does this to his clients though.
No, definitely not. Got to be out of business.
It's a bit quiet in Peel to keep bumping off the
Well,
clientele,
maybe
isn't
that's
it?
what it is. Maybe, who knows?
Okay, right. Well, ladies, I think that's almost us done. But before we go, way back in 2020, after the first big lockdown, we came up with our Spotify playlist. Now, this is our ultimate musical theatre playlist. Neil King, who was my co-presenter at the time, he and I both started it off, and we put 10 songs in each because, we wanted to get it going. A playlist that's got 2 songs is quite short and uninteresting and over very, very quickly. So we put 10 songs in each to get these going. And we chose songs that are either songs that we have sung, they're songs that have come from shows that we've been in, they're just songs that we really, really love, or the songs that mean something special to us. Now, one of my songs on the list, I've said this a few times, is Seasons of Love, and that's because we had a group of friends that sang it at mine and Emma's wedding. So that's why it's on that list for me.
Yeah.
And it chokes me up every now and again when I listen to it. I'm like, oh, but it's in there because it's something that means something really special to me. So we've got somewhere in the region of about 110 songs on the list now. And just having a quick look down the list, I can see that we have had songs from... let's try and pick some people from Manx Op. So we've had Nikki Openshaw. She chose You Will Be Found from Dear Evan Hansen. Alex Toohey chose He's My Boy from Everybody's Talking About Jamie. I think it was his mum's favourite song, so that's why he chose that one. David Dawson, Lost in the Wilderness, Children of Eden. Tony Hawks chose Umbrella Man from Underneath the Arches. And there are many, many, many others in there to choose from. So, like I said, it's getting on for about 7.5 hours of show tunes on there now. So it'll keep you going for a while.
Wouldn't it? Yeah.
So, ladies,
Yeah.
what song would you like to add and why?
Do you know what? I'm going to go with, I think I remember with the Sunday night at the Gaiety, and I think there was a song called Mr. Bojangles.
Yes.
And we would listen to, I remember the 2 boys from Art Dead that come over, Harrison and Reese. They did a lovely dance to it in one rehearsal. And at that time, like I said, with me joining the theatre, it was very personal, and I really liked that song, and the lyrics was like, come back and dance, dance. And I don't know, it's always had a bit of a special place, so I would go for that one.
Oh, good. And I think that was on Robbie's Swing When You're Winning album, wasn't it? Yeah.
It's just a lovely, lovely song, and I like that kind of era, in the 50s, and or Marilyn and that kind of vibe.
Yeah, it's one of Matt's favourites, I think.
Yeah, he sang it actually.
Yes.
Didn't he? He's very good.
Tracey?
I'll go for Somewhere That's Green
from
Little Shop, because obviously I sang it at the Gaiety, and it was just with a guitar playing, and it was just me sat on a chair, very quiet, and I've got such great memories of playing Audrey. So yeah, Somewhere That's Green.
Wonderful.
I think mine is going to have to be Work of Art from Jamie.
Yes.
Because this is like my first principal role that like I've had that's just me playing the part. So being able to sing that song on stage, I absolutely love it. So.
It's all yours.
And it's mine.
You kill it every single time. Your diction's stunning. Love it.
Fantastic. Well, ladies, thank you very much for joining me on the podcast today. Everybody's Talking About Jamie is running at the Gaiety Theatre from Friday the 14th to Saturday the 22nd of March, with shows nightly at 7:30pm, except for Sunday the 16th, which is a 5pm performance.
Right.
Sounds like that's news to you.
Quick roast dinner in the afternoon then.
There's no show on Monday the 17th, so you all get a night off, which is nice. But there are 2 shows on Saturday the 22nd, so you've got a 2:30 matinee and an evening performance at 7:30.
Yeah.
Tickets are £26 in the stalls and £28 in the circle, with concessions for over 65s. If you've not got your tickets yet, you can get them from villagaiety.com or by calling 600 555. Well, thanks Bethan, Tracey, Maryse for joining me on the podcast today, and I wish you and everyone at Manx Ops involved with Everybody's Talking About Jamie all the very, very best for your run.
Thanks for having us.
Cheers.
Yes, thank you.
You're listening to the Manx Theatre Podcast.
Okay, looking forward to the rest of the year. So far we have, on the 3rd to 5th of April, we've got Paradox Theatre Company bringing us Macbeth to the Gaiety Theatre, and we should be chatting with them in the next episode. Then is the Madford Easter Festival from the 19th to the 25th of April, also at the Gaiety Theatre. Parker Snell are up next, with Alan Bennett's Talking Head from the 22nd to the 24th of May. Closely followed by Stage Door Entertainment's Calendar Girls the Musical from the 29th to the 31st of May. Then we'll have Two Feathers with Little Shop of Horrors from the 11th to the 19th of July. Tailoring Productions are not far after that, with Charlie and the Chocolate Factory on the 31st of July to the 9th of August. Then in October we'll have Centre Stage with The Band, and then we'll have Stage Ed back at Christmas with Cinderella from the 19th to the 31st of December. There'll also be a few other plays and bits and pieces in between there. There's going to be 2 shows, more than likely, from the Service Players that we are yet to find out about. And as soon as I know these other bits, I'll stick them in and we'll let you know. Well, with that, we bring episode 65 to a close. And we wish everyone involved with the Manx Operatic Society's production of Everybody's Talking About Jamie all the very best for opening night and their run. Don't forget to check out the Spotify playlist by searching for Manx Theatre Podcast. There's over 110 tracks on there now, and over 7.5 hours of show tunes to satisfy your musical theatre needs. If you have any events that you'd like me to talk about or promote on a future episode, you can contact me through the social media accounts or by email to manxtheatrepodcast@gmail.com. All that remains is to say thanks for listening, and I hope you join me again next time. I've been Neil Callin, and you've been listening to the Manx Theatre Podcast. Goodbye.
The Manx Theatre Podcast, taking a look behind the scenes of Manx Theatre.
Than actors alive for me.